everyone, it's Miri here from Hackett Equine, and this week I'm going to be showing you my top tips for your first show of the season. So whether it's your first show or you've been to lots of shows, I'm going to run through some of the things that I find really important to make sure that you've checked off the list before you start competing. So I find it's always important to make sure that my horse's teeth are done. Often we say that horses should only have their teeth done annually once they're past a certain age, maybe 10 years old. But in fact, if your horse is due its teeth in May and you've got a show in April, I would always advise that you get your horse's teeth done before you start competing in spring, so that you make sure that your horse is as comfortable as they can possibly be. So I'm very fortunate to be sponsored by a physio, Vicky Boyce. She's local in our area. It's really important to have your horse's back checked regularly. We tend to work on a 3-month rota, and also to keep up with our carrot stretches in between. Good girl. Another thing that you want to make sure is fitted correctly is your saddle. I'm very lucky to be sponsored by my local saddle fitter, Matt Crippen. He has been very kind and has come out and fitted her saddle to her specifically. He's also told me a couple of things that I need to watch out for through the season or at the start of the season to make sure that her saddle is still fitting her. Very obvious signs would be less than 4-finger gap between her wither and the pommel, that the panel has become too tight and you can't easily slide your hand underneath, and that your pommel and your cantle are in line. If you are at all worried, then call your local saddle fitter. The next thing I'm going to show you is to how to correctly fit your bridle and your bit. So, Kenko goes in a very simple bridle. She's got a Cabesson noseband, and then she's got a D-ring rubber snaffle just with one joint. It's a really nice soft bit. She's very sensitive in the rein, so she doesn't need anything strong. It's also a dressage legal bit. When you're fastening their throat lash, you need to make sure that the throat lash has got 4 fingers gap underneath their throat. What you don't want to do is often people will measure the throat lash here. This doesn't give you a very true reading, because in fact this part of their throat is the bit that needs to have the gap. So yes, a 4-finger gap here. And the noseband, often we get this one a little bit wrong. So with Kenko's noseband, as you can see, there is a gap between her cheekbone and her noseband. Often people will say you need to have a 2-finger gap. Now I believe that in fact if you have a gap you can fit a finger through, that's fine because it's proportionate to her head. If I had a 2-finger gap here, her noseband would be too low and it would be in the wrong position on her face. So as you can see with her bit, there is a lumpy bit on the outside where the ring attaches. That should be on the outside of her mouth. It shouldn't be encroaching into her lip. And if you look closely, you can see she's got one little wrinkle next to her mouth. Good girl. Now, when you check that your bit fits, not only should you have a wrinkle, but you should have a little bit of give in your cheek pieces. If I was to put her bit down a little, you could see then that the cheek piece would gape. This is really common. You pull on your rein and the cheek piece gapes. This is not good tack fitting. When you fit your tack as well, a part of the bridle that we often forget to check is the headpiece. This is a nice padded headpiece, but you should be able to move it off the horse's head. It shouldn't be so tight that you can't get anything underneath it. The same with her brow band. Again, we don't want it gaping, but equally we should be able to fit our hand underneath. As Kenko doesn't wear a martingale, I thought I'd show you on my other horse, Mo. So to check that your martingale fits, I'll just simulate it being done up. She doesn't like me touching her tummy. It should reach to just in the groove of their throat. Not to here, but just ever so slightly higher than where their throat is. Your martingale should never draw down on the rein. When you're riding and they lift the head, the rein should stay level. It should never make a curve in the rein. It's too tight if that is the case. So it's important to make sure that your horse's vaccinations are up to date. For FEI competitions, it's a 6-monthly. You've got to be within 6 months for an FEI show. But for just a normal everyday show, then your yearly vaccinations are what you need to make sure is up to date. So there you have it, guys. Top Tips Friday. A couple of things to be checking before you go to your first show of the season. Please like and share the video, comment below if you've got any questions, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.